Lego pieces you need to build your own creations is hard and expensive.
We've been trying to build a city, and the most frustrating part is getting the pieces we need. So we want to share what we've learned so far about the best way to get the Lego pieces you need for whatever you're trying to build.
And after we go through everything, we'll see if we manage to collect the right parts to build the wall for our city. If you're lucky enough to live within a travelable distance of a Lego store, one great way to get pieces is at the pick-a-brick wall, where you can buy bricks by volume instead of paying per piece. Depending on the type of part, this can get you 40 to 90% off of what you'd pay elsewhere. For example, 2x4 bricks, which are pretty voluminous but also pricey if you buy them by the piece, when packed carefully will fit 167 per large pab cup, which comes out to about 9 cents per piece, as opposed to the standard Lego.com price of 21 cents per piece. This saves you about $12 per 100 pieces, or 56%. Whereas if you fill a whole large pab cup with smaller and rarer pieces, like say 1x2 trans blue tiles, you might save closer to 90% off the Lego.com list price. The big downside of the pick-a-brick wall, or pab, is that you can only buy the bricks that are available on the wall when you're there. So our first recommendation for pab is to go when the wall has recently been restocked. It makes a huge difference in the variety of the pieces available. What we do is call the people who run our Lego store every week or two and ask them when their next shipment is coming in. Then we try to be there within a couple days after the wall gets restocked. Second, make sure to pack your cup well. It's fun. Imagine that you're building a MOC that's exactly the shape and size of the negative space inside the cup you're filling, but it doesn't have to stand independently, and you get bonus points for any rare or exotic pieces that you can sneak in. Remember that if there are gaps left over, you can fill them with tiny pieces for free. This is why we have, now, 1,000 eyes, which I'm hoping to make something spooky out of. You can also ask the people who work at the store for tape to hold the lid down instead of having to have it snap closed, which gives you a few milliliters more Lego. And you can get each cup a little cheaper if you bring back your own cup instead of taking a new cup. In the US, it's 50 cents off. The last thing to remember is that the pick-a-brick wall is official Lego, so you earn VIP points for it, you get gifts with purchase from it, and you can redeem VIP points on it. So you'll get at least the 5% in the US VIP rewards back on top of the money you save per piece. In our last pick-a-brick haul at the Pleasanton, California Lego store, we were able to get a ton of light bluish gray 1x10 bricks and light bluish gray 8x8 plates, which we need for our wall and for the visible plates in our city, plus a bunch of other useful stuff. And our overall cost came out to about 20% of what these would have cost if we'd bought them from Lego.com. By the way, if you want to count your pieces fast, the way we do this is with the kitchen scale. You can weigh, say, 20 pieces and divide by 20 to see what the weight per piece is, because normal scales don't give an accurate weight for a single piece. And then weigh your whole haul and divide by the weight per piece you got to get the number of pieces. Buying from the pick-a-brick wall works best if you're somewhat flexible about which exact parts you need, like if you can use any one of a family of parts. For example, for our wall, we needed any length of 1x light bluish gray bricks. Overall, pab's great. It's where we've gotten the largest fraction of the pieces we've used in our city. When the wall has the pieces you need, they're very well priced, and you'll have them in your hands immediately. Plus, it's kind of a delight to find what you're looking for there. And you get to go to the Lego store. Next is
BrickLink is a detailed catalog of parts plus a web-based marketplace where thousands of stores sell tens of thousands of Lego parts that can be new, straight from sets, or various degrees of used. BrickLink itself is owned by Lego, but the individual stores aren't. BrickLink is the only one of these methods that integrates with the parts list from Studio and other Lego design apps, which is a huge time saver. And you can often find pieces really cheap on BrickLink. The problem with BrickLink is that, one, if you're trying to build something specific, a single store usually won't have all the pieces you need. And two, you need to pay for shipping for each store. So if you're buying from multiple stores, you're paying for shipping multiple times. And even if you're only buying from one store, the shipping cost often outweighs the lower price per piece. Sometimes stores will give you free shipping above a certain threshold, but that's pretty rare for the stores that offer the best prices. But if you avoid these pitfalls, you can get really good deals. We tend to use BrickLink in 3 ways. One is to buy bricks in bulk. If we need a large quantity of a few parts, BrickLink is almost always the cheapest option, even after including the cost of shipping. And many stores offer a lower price per piece if you buy over a certain quantity. For example, to build our wall, we bought 900 light bluish gray profile bricks from Croatia, which, including the price of shipping, costs under 4 cents per piece, which is much cheaper than the Lego.com price of 12 cents per piece. Second, we always do check BrickLink when we're trying to source parts for specific MOCs that we have parts lists for in Studio. This often doesn't end up being the cheapest, but sometimes we're lucky. We can import our Studio files as BrickLink wanted lists, then search for stores that have the largest number of pieces for the cheapest price, so we can get as many pieces as possible per store to save on shipping. Third, sometimes pieces are retired and no longer sold by Lego. For these, we have to buy them from BrickLink. We often use pieces that are retired in our MOCs because we want a specific look. When we buy these, since we're already paying for shipping, we try to add any additional pieces available from that seller at a good price from our wanted lists. We often get these retired pieces in used condition instead of new, because they can be expensive to find new. But we learned the hard way that we need to pay the premium for new ones when it's window glass or other highly visible or easily scratched elements. BrickLink can be stressful, but it's a really useful resource and we've gotten lots of well-priced pieces from it, with really fast turnaround and great service from almost all the sellers we've bought from. You don't get Lego VIP points or promos, but you get to work with smaller sellers, and sometimes they include things like stickers of Lord Garmadon.
An alternative to BrickLink for ordering exactly the parts you need is Lego's first-party online parts shop. Lego sells most of its non-retired parts here, split into categories they call bestsellers and standard. If you're in the US, the bestsellers ship domestically from Illinois, whereas the standard pieces are packed and shipped from Denmark. As of today, you need to order at least $14 of each category that you're ordering in order to avoid an extra fee. In our recent experience, the bestsellers come reasonably fast, about the same speed as a set that's in stock, whereas the standard parts have been taking upwards of a month to ship, which is much slower than BrickLink orders usually take, even international ones. The price per piece on these is usually higher than you'd see on BrickLink, but Lego will give you free shipping over $35, so accounting for the price of shipping, it's usually cheaper to go through Lego.com than BrickLink. Lego.com is particularly good for rarer colors because it usually charges the same price for each piece type, regardless of color. So for example, sand green and dark orange cost about 4 times as much for some pieces as lime green and bright orange on BrickLink, but they're the same price on Lego.com. For us, we need a lot of light bluish gray, which is in high demand on BrickLink, so it can be relatively cheaper to get these on Lego.com. It's, unfortunately, pretty time-consuming to search for parts here. There's no integration with BrickLink or ability to import parts lists, so it's all manual for us for now. We keep meaning to make a tool for it, but we haven't yet. Let us know if you'd use one, and it'll be more motivation for us to actually do it. If you don't mind waiting a long time for your bricks, Lego.com can be a good way to get the pieces you need. And you can earn and use VIP points like you can on sets or at the pick-a-brick wall. It's slow, but reliable, and we've gotten more total pieces from Lego.com than from BrickLink.
The fourth way we get pieces for our MOCs is from basic brick boxes, especially our favorite basic brick box, the 11717 Bricks plates. These are great if you need a bunch of bricks of whatever color. For example, if you're building Mills plates or something like the supports we were building for the raised platforms in our city. The Bricks plates box happens to pretty much always be $20 off at Walmart in the US, sometimes more, and comes with 4 16x16 plates, which alone would cost more than $10 US at Lego.com prices. So we've used these extensively for building out the bulk of the invisible infrastructure of our city. The box comes out to 3.3 cents per piece, even including the large plates.
The last way we get pieces for our builds is by buying existing Lego sets and parting them out. The overall price per piece for sets is cheaper than picking out individual pieces anywhere else, except the pick-a-brick wall. Although the difference is a little smaller now than 2 months ago, since Lego raised the prices of a lot of sets in August 2022. But the lower price per piece is an average over all the pieces in the set, which probably includes a lot of pieces you don't want and wouldn't have purchased otherwise. We tend to buy sets for pieces only if one of 2 things is true, usually both. 1, if the set is deeply discounted, like at least 30 or 40% off. For example, this week we got the Queer Eye set that's 40% off on Lego.com now. And 2, if the set is very similar to what we're hoping to build. Like if we were trying to build a small, medium nougat and dark green coffee shop, we could buy the Friends Central Perk set. You could also do this with larger sets, like the Ninjago and Monkey Kid City sets, which are excellent parts packs for assorted buildings. These 2 sets are still well priced per piece, even after the price increases. You have to do the math to see if the price per usable piece is worthwhile, but if so, buying sets for pieces can be a good deal. And you do get lots of minifigs and fun extra pieces for free, which you can sell on BrickLink if you want to, or just keep for future builds.
So did we get enough to build the wall?
Let us know your thoughts and tips in the comments, and thanks so much for watching!
And please like and subscribe if you want to see more LEGO!